Hey everybody, this is part two of assignment number 14. We are going to be looking at the second part for decision trees that we've been working on in orange. So as you guys know from the first part, we took our data, the cluster data from the k-means clustering, and then we transferred it into this second part where we're looking at trees and the decision viewer. So went ahead and put in my file here for the updated iris data that I used in part two of assignment number 13 with select columns. Very similar. Took the silhouette out because that was didn't matter, and then moved my cluster down to my target variable there. For the tree size, I'm at 5, 5, and 20 is what we're looking at there. And then if we open our viewer, what we see here is a couple different things going on. As you guys can see, when I transferred this over, there were 7 different clusters, representative down here of the 7th cluster there. What the machine decided is that the petal length was the most important variable that we were looking at. So for the arrows that went from the petal length node, which is the most important node, it decided we go down to sepal width, and on each side, if the sepal width is less than this or higher than this, 1.9 respectively on both sides, it will stick it in cluster 4 or 5, and then we will go down from there. So if the sepal width is greater than or equal to 1.9, it put it over here. You can find it anywhere from cluster 5, 6, or 1. If it is less than 1.9, you can find it in cluster 2, 3, 4, or 7. And so it's kind of interesting, it shows petal length and then sepal width to split those out. And then respectively, it looks like, from one, it's interesting to see why 1.9 was what it picked. And we can go over here and let's rearrange this a little bit. So let's take these up to 10. And then we'll take this one down to 5, see what it does. So a little bit different. Interestingly enough, it doesn't change the most important nodes. We still have petal length, and then we have sepal width, 1.9 and 1.9. So simply all of it did by changing those, the directives on the clustering, was it changed the clustering under those most important ones here just to look a little bit different. Over here, if the sepal width is less than is over on this side, then the petal length and sepal length are going to be length. It looks like it picked length for both of those, and so we have width, length over here, and then yeah, it's just interesting to see how it changes that as it varies. So right here is where I got my cluster information. You can see the different clusters that we had there, the 7 different clusters that went into that, and kind of the information that it pulled that from. So interesting as we look at that and why it shows those different items. Again, let's go back to 3 and see if it changes much from the original, although I don't think it will. Let's do this 15, and then we'll go over here to the viewer. So not very different from the initial one. Again, we still have 1.9, 1.9, and then we've got cluster 5, 1, and 6, and 3, 4, 7, and 2 over here. So interesting to look how it broke these down. And in terms of data visualization, this is a really interesting data visualization tool to be able to show information and why it makes sense in certain clusters. As opposed to trying to explain that through yourself, but allowing the machine to do that and then explain it from there. So we will go to part 3 here next.